Welcome to the second part of this lesson. In the first part of the lesson, we looked at how blood flows through the heart. And in this second part of the lesson, I want us to think about pumping mechanism of the heart, or what we call the cardiac cycle or heart cycle. Now, the cardiac cycle simply refers to a sequence of events that occur during the heartbeat. Heartbeat is due to contraction and relaxation of heart muscles. And this contraction and relaxation occurs rhythmically. Each contraction is followed by relaxation, and the two constitute what we call the cardiac cycle. Every cardiac cycle has two phases. It has the first phase, known as systole, and the second phase, which is known as diastole. First phase, systole; second phase, diastole. So I want us to think about the first phase, that is the systole. And I want to say this about systole, that it is during systole that the heart muscles or the ventricular muscles contract, squeezing the blood out of the heart, so that this blood goes to the lungs or to other parts of the body. If you look at this diagram here, it is showing what is happening during systole. I want us to look at the series of events that occur during systole. First thing that happens is that the ventricular muscles contract. As you can see here, ventricular muscles contract, and when they contract, the volume of the ventricle reduces and the pressure in the ventricle increases, and this squeezes the blood out of the ventricle to either the pulmonary artery or aorta. The second thing that happens is that both bicuspid and tricuspid valve close to prevent backflow of blood to the auricles. And event number 3 is that the semilunar valves at the base of the arteries open to allow blood to flow out of the heart. Something else that happens is that the aorta and pulmonary artery relax and dilate to increase their size so that they can allow more blood to move out of the heart. And it is during systole that the blood is pumped out of the heart. As you can see here, the blood is being pumped out of the heart. On the right hand side, if the blood is pumped out of the heart, it goes to the lungs. On the left hand side, if the blood is pumped out of the heart, it goes to the rest of the body. Let's now think about the diastole. This is diastole here. Now, it is during diastole that the blood flows from the auricles to the ventricles. I want us to think about the series of activities that occur during diastole. Event number 1. the ventricular muscles relax. And when the ventricular muscles relax, the volume of the ventricle increases and the pressure decreases. And when the pressure decreases, the blood flows from the auricles to the ventricles. And when this is happening, the cuspid valve and the tricuspid valve and the bicuspid valve open, while the semilunar valves close. The semilunar valves close to prevent backflow of blood into the ventricles, while the cuspid valves, or what we call atrioventricular valves, allow blood to flow from the auricle to the ventricle. Something else that happens during diastole is that the thin auricular walls, or the walls of the auricles, contract slightly to push the blood from the auricles to the ventricles. And when all these things happen, the blood moves from the auricles to the ventricles. And that takes us to the end of the second phase, that is the diastole. That is what is known as the cardiac cycle. I told you the cardiac cycle has two phases. The first phase is systole, and the second is diastole. If you listen to your heart, it beats rhythmically. There are two events that happen at the same time. There is contraction of the ventricle and relaxation of ventricles. Contraction of ventricles and relaxation of ventricles. That's why you have those two heartbeats following each other very closely. Contraction, relaxation, contraction, relaxation. This is what constitutes the heartbeat. That brings us to the end of the second part of the lesson. Thank you so much.